Hello guys, welcome to the WildRift Academy. I'm going to be doing some revamped guides. I'm going to be doing a lot of kind of like in-depth guides. You've probably seen some things like minion wave control, and I've done some like Jack's jungle breakdowns. I've done tier lists. I'm going to be focusing on a series called the WildRift Academy, getting you guys ready to play WildRift and understanding the concepts that you need to know to be able to play this game properly. One of the things that I want to focus on today is something that a lot of new players wish they knew how to do, but don't really understand very well, which is counter jungling. First of all, thank you if you're a subscriber or you're returning. Welcome back to the Scoundrel's Den. If you want to be a scoundrel, there is a subscribe button down below, and there is a link to G2A, who sponsor the channel, in the description below as well, so thank you to them. Enough with all that, though. Let's talk about counter jungling, because this is a very important topic that I think a lot of new players would benefit from understanding. I hear a lot of people say, why is Master Yi so good? He's not. Master Yi is actually a really bad jungler. And I'm going to show you in this video how you can play against Master Yi. Now, obviously, you need to have the right pick. You need to have a jungler that is relatively good in the early game. And one of the best early game junglers, in fact, one of the best junglers in the game right now is Lee Sin. But what is the concept of counter jungling? Well, the map is split. This is going to be a very crude drawing. The map is split somewhat like this, with your three lanes, and then down the middle is the river. Here you have the enemy red side jungle, and here you have the enemy blue side jungle. Counter jungling is the very simple concept of crossing the river into one of the enemy jungle campsites and either taking away, the raptors, the buff if you can, the krugs, the wolves, the gromp, the blue buff. That is the very basic concept of counter jungling, and you guys should really obviously understand that basic concept when it comes down to it. But how do you do it effectively? Well, counter jungling relies on a few things. One, your jungle matchup. My handwriting is atrocious, but one, your jungle matchup is important. Two, how quickly you clear camps. And three, what state your lanes are in. You probably can't read what I've written, and I don't blame you, because my writing is terrible. But firstly, the jungle matchup. You need to know how your champion matches up against the enemy jungler. And most of the time, that will come from experience. You'll get it from guides. There'll be people who talk a little bit about counter picks and kind of what's good. What I would say is junglers like Master Yi, and even junglers like Jax to an extent, they don't have a particularly good early clear, and they're not particularly great early junglers. Junglers like Xin Zhao, junglers like Lee Sin, they are much stronger, and therefore they are more likely to be junglers that you would be looking to do counter jungling with. It's very, very, I would say it's a very poor decision, unless you are absolutely rolling over the enemy, to go counter jungle with Master Yi at level 1 or level 2, because you're just not that good at this stage in the game. So understanding when your champion is strong, in general, stronger early game champions are going to be better at counter jungling. How quickly you clear camps. This is important because obviously you're going to have options when you enter the enemy jungle. If I'm a Shyvana, I'm very likely going to be able to take away the enemy Razorbeaks or the enemy Wolves relatively quickly, because I have a good area of effect clear. So my ability to clear multiple minions at the same time is very good. If I'm a Lee Sin, I'm more likely to go and try and take the enemy buff or take some of the enemy smaller camps, because my clear is not going to be quite as quick. Even though it is still good, it's probably not going to be quite as quick as someone like Shyvana. So just be aware that you need to know how quickly you clear camps, and it's also important to use that to understand how much time you have in the enemy jungle. How quickly can you clear a camp before an enemy can respond to you, either from the lane or the enemy jungler, and how quickly, once you kill the enemy jungler, have you got, or how much time have you got before they get back into the jungle and contest you again. So just understanding how quickly you clear camps is a big deal. And what state your lanes are in. And this one's I'm gonna do a little diagram for this, because what state your lanes are in is important to understanding why counter jungling isn't always a good idea. Okay, I'm gonna do an example with mid lane, okay, because mid lane is usually the one that has the most impact. Here is your mid lane. Here is the river on either side. We have our red side jungle here. We have our blue side jungle here, and you're coming in from this side. The enemy has all of their minions near your tower. So let's say the enemy is pushing your mid laner under tower. Do you think it would be a good idea to go into the enemy jungle in this scenario? I'll give you a couple of seconds to answer. I've realized I've accidentally drawn something on... I've accidentally drawn something on this man that maybe I did not want to, so we're going to delete that. That was a complete error and mistake on my part, and I apologize. I apologize for that. So, do you think it's a good idea to go into the enemy jungle in this scenario? Well, if you said no, the answer is correct, because what would happen, the most likely scenario, is the enemy jungler says, oh my god, help me, and it is much easier for this mid laner to respond than your mid laner, because your mid laner doesn't want to miss minions, and he also has to run through the enemy mid laner to get to the jungle. So you just need to be aware of what your lanes look like. Conversely, if I just do this again, and in that scenario, by the way, it would usually just be better to gank mid lane because of if the wave was in that state. Conversely, let's say we're going to do that diagram again, hopefully without the unintentional phallus. Conversely, let's say that your minion wave is here and the enemy minion is under tower. Do you think it's a good idea to invade then? The answer is the opposite. Of course, this is a better opportunity to invade because your mid laner can respond quickly and the enemy mid laner either has to lose minions and obviously can get into the jungle, but again, it's another scenario where they may end up losing minions to the tower and they're also going to have to make that awkward decision. So it's a much better scenario to invade when your lanes are pushed in and the laners can support you, and make sure if you're playing with someone, you're in duo queue, they're aware of this. If not, you're pinging. Make sure that they are in a position to support you, and make sure you're paying attention to the wave state when looking to counter jungle. Alright, I hope that was useful. I hope that little brief explanation. It's not a huge guide. I'm going to do some more in-depth guides once we get the European release. But we're going to go into a game, and I'm going to do a little bit of commentary over the game, and I'm going to do some drawing. I hope you enjoyed that little brief explanation on counter jungling, and let's get into a scenario where I absolutely bodied a Master Yi, primarily through counter jungling. Okay, guys, this is the game, and I want to give you some context about what's happened, because obviously it's about 1 minute 10 into the game, and I'm already 2-0-1. I invaded Master Yi at level 1 on his red buff, which is something that you can do because Master Yi is a very, 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 very bad early game jungler. I then helped kill Mundo top, and I killed Master Yi again. For context of this game, we have a Varus, an Ashe, and a Jhin. This is ranked, by the way. A Varus, an Ashe, and a Jhin, and then we have a Yasuo mid. So we're practically all AD. They could have just itemized armor, and this game would have been pretty hard for us. We also have no mage, we have no support. So this is looking like a pretty bad game from Champion Select. But I want to show you how I used counter jungling to my advantage to help me win the game. So I went back. The first thing that I picked up was parts towards my Black Cleaver. I wanted to go Black Cleaver because I thought that they were going to stack armor, and I thought that it was better to have some armor shred to help me kind of snowball any potential early defenses. I decided to then go to my red buff, as you can see here. Now, look at the map state. Look at the vision that I've got on the map right now. Where do you think the most sensible option, if I want to put pressure on Master Yi, what would you say the most sensible option is? His red buff I have taken. My blue buff is up. I just killed him, so he'll be resetting. What is the most likely area that you think he's going to go to? If you said blue buff, congratulations. That's exactly what I'm going to do. What I'm going to do is I'm going to finish at my red buff, and then I am going to go from red buff straight to Master Yi's blue buff, and I'm going to show you how that looks now. So we're going to do this red buff here, and I want to just do this to put myself a little bit further ahead in experience. I know that he's also running back to the jungle, and so I've got a little bit of time to get this done. I also have 2 smites, so I can smite and then comfortably get over to his blue buff and potentially look to smite steal that away. Now, I could have gone for the River Scuttler, but if I fail on the invade, I'm very likely just going to go for the River Scuttler anyway. And I thought that Master Yi would be there. I dive over, kill him, and I'm going to get both buffs on my initial invade. Doesn't matter what is happening in your lanes right now. Don't worry about what's happening in your lanes. If you get far enough ahead in the jungle, you can always impact what happens in the lanes later. Okay, now I can see there's a fairly low Jinx on the bottom side of the map. She's coming to ward right now. I'm going to catch her out straight away. I'm just going to make sure I don't commit my Q too early. And I actually hit my ultimate here. Now, I make a mistake. If I had used my E, I probably would have killed him. So if I'd used my Tempest and Cripple, I probably would have killed him, which is my third skill. But I thought that my kick would have enough damage to do the necessary executing blow. It was not the case. Now, luckily, I don't know if you just caught it on the minimap. Guess who turned up about here? If you saw, Ash actually caught Master Yi heading towards his Gromp. So what am I going to do? I'm level 5. I have a massive level advantage on Master Yi. I'm just going to run straight back in. I'm going to do the same thing here. It doesn't matter about Jinx. I don't really care about Jinx. Wait for the Alpha Strike to come off, kill him, and start to attack Jinx as well. And as you can see here, I'm going to go for a very long range Q. And then I'm going to run it, jump, kill her, and get out of the tower range. So I'm already off to a ridiculous start. I've got a 3-level advantage on Master Yi. I'm just going to back in this part of the jungle. Now, he messed up. He should have Alpha Striked me, but instead he Alpha Striked the wolves. Unlucky for me, though, Malphite has Flash and Ultimate. Doesn't matter, though. I've already got a lot of the work done. Now, if you're in this situation and you're Master Yi, look at Master Yi in the middle lane right now. If you're in this situation, I would, if I was Master Yi, head straight over to my blue buff and see if I can take that. And then go into the River Scuttler and take that. And then loop back and take my red. If I have just seen the enemy jungler die and I think that they've got a buff up, I am going immediately for that buff, and then I'm going to loop back into my own jungle to keep myself safe. That would be what I would do if I were Master Yi in this situation. But what Master Yi actually ends up doing is taking a load of damage in mid lane. Now, he could very easily walk into my blue buff, potentially have picked that up if he'd gone straight there with Smite, and I might not have been able to catch him. But because he didn't do that, I now have options to go towards my own blue buff. But given that I'm so much stronger, especially with my a Black Cleaver already completed, I can actually head towards his red buff. Now, I see the Orianna here. The Yasuo getting pretty close. I wait for the shockwave. She was expecting me to jump directly on her, and I kick, and I expect Yasuo to use the ultimate here, but he doesn't. So I waste my kick for absolutely nothing. Now again, you may have just seen I saw Master Yi. He was very low. He's a lower level than me overall. I'm going to ward and head straight to his red buff. If Master Yi turns up, even without my kick, I'm confident that I beat him. Nonetheless, though, I just managed to... I should have smited because Master Yi does turn up. He's actually caught up in levels just a little bit. We're going to chase him down. Again, get him low for my Sonic Wave. And I'm going to kill him. And this Master Yi is not having a good time in the jungle right now. We have Mundo, who attempted to flash over the wall to catch me. I managed to dive away. And I'm now going to go and do my own blue buff once my smite is up, and then take the River Scuttler as well. When you are jungling and when you are counter jungling, especially if you're something like Master Yi, it's very unlikely that you're going to be able to clear the enemy jungle camps that aren't the buffs relatively quickly. In fact, this entire game, you're going to notice I didn't do a single jungle camp that wasn't a buff or a River Scuttler. I spent most of the time counter jungling and also trying to kill people in lane. Now, obviously, this is a good little kill here for the Varus in the top lane. This is going to allow me to now go and do my River Scuttler. If I were looking to really punish Master Yi here, I maybe would be looking to move into his jungle, try and take the Razorbeaks or the Krugs, which are on the top side of the map, alongside his red buff. But his blue buff has just respawned over here. You can see the blue buff has just respawned. Given how much stronger I am and given how weak the bot lane is, you know, I'm going to head down towards bot lane first to see if I can have an impact, because as you can see, there's some very low HP bars. So I just dive in. I unfortunately hit my Q on, or rather my Sonic Wave on a minion, so I'm not able to take out the Jinx. I don't want to overcommit to this fight. But what I can do now in this situation is either take River Scuttler into blue buff, because again, I still think I'm very strong. I have the support of Yasuo, so most importantly, I have the support of Yasuo. I am just going to do this River Scuttler really quickly. I'm going to move into the blue buff territory now as well. I can see that Jinx is down there, and I actually just picked up Master Yi chilling on the sidelines here. So again, I am going to dive in onto Master Yi. I'm going to take him low, I'm going to kick him back towards Ash, and we're going to get the kill. Here comes the Malphite. I don't think he has his ultimate available, so we're going to take him down low. He flashes over the wall. I'm going to focus on the Jinx in this situation, and again, get away relatively easily. So that was a really nice little attack. Again, just looking to push into the enemy jungle. And now, realistically, what I should have done here was probably take the dragon. Taking the dragon in this situation probably would have been comfortable for me because I have Black Cleaver. I probably wouldn't have been in any danger, but I can still do that a little bit later on down the line. Neutral objectives are something that I've been a little bit less focused on because I've been too busy getting 10 kills, but I'm now in a position to carry. So what is the worst thing that I can do here? Let off the pressure. I need to continue the pressure. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to go for that Mountain Drake now. I unfortunately don't let Ash jump over with me because I'm an idiot. Yeah, we're going to go for that Mountain Drake. We're going to take it as quickly as we can. And that's going to be the first neutral objective that we're able to secure on the map. I'm very strong right now, so I want to be fighting as much as possible, and I've built to fight. We smite it away. We walk towards the bot lane. Nothing's going to appear. I see the Master Yi, and again, notice which buffs are up. That red buff has respawned. That's something that we can try and look to focus on. I'm just going to simply walk and kick Master Yi, and I land the Sonic Wave and get the kill. Now that he's dead, immediately I should be thinking about the red buff, or at least going for the next neutral objective, which is going to be the Rift Herald. Now, we can see that the red buff is actually gone, so there isn't much point me going into the enemy jungle. So the best thing that I can do in this scenario is take the Rift Herald, and we're going to get that relatively easily with the Yasuo and with the Varus. I see that there is a Ward over the wall, so I'm going to dive over. As soon as I see the ball jump over the wall, I jump over onto the Orianna, and again, we are just going to flash in, land my Q, and kill her. Land my Sonic Wave, rather, and kill her. And now the immediate response for me is going to be, cool, there is no Orianna mid lane, there's only a Malphite, let's drop the Rift Herald and push this wave, because obviously I want this Rift Herald to get onto the turret. I don't want it to get stuck attacking minions, so we're going to kill the minions, and then we're going to allow the Rift Herald to charge into the turret. I'm not going to commit too hard here, because I don't really have much health, but I'm going to kick the Malphite back. I'm going to land my Sonic Wave to be able to dive out. I'm going to hope that the Yasuo does the rest of the work for me, and I'm going to now back off, because that has now created enough of a distraction to allow my Rift Herald to get the tower, which was the most important objective in that engage. It was not the kills, it was not anything else, it was to allow my Rift Herald to get to the tower. Going back, I pick up the Death Dance and also the Vamp Boots. So I'm now 3 items with Vampiric Boots as well, which is actually really good. I see that the Master Yi tried his own hand at counter-jungling, but he's just a little bit too far behind at this point. I'm not going to hit Q while he's meditating. I'm going to wait. The Shockwave does hit me, but it doesn't matter because we're just so strong that I think at this point I can face tank everybody and hopefully be okay. We're now going to run into the fight over here with the Malphite, who immediately flashes away. So, as you can see, we have generated a ridiculous advantage by essentially counter-jungling in the early game. And at this point, it's just about either taking away buffs or taking away neutral objectives. Those are the most important things. So we're just going to take this turret, again, using my advantage, and I'm now going to head over to the blue buff, which is, again, denying another objective. It's really important when doing blue buff in a lot of scenarios just to ward over the wall so you can see that anybody is coming towards you, and we're going to take that blue buff away. We're going to continue to push into the enemy jungle because we feel like we're pretty strong. Here's the Master Yi once more. Again, not going to commit too much damage while he's meditating, and I'm going to aim my Q in the only direction that he can go, which is along the wall. And we are again going to get another kill onto Master Yi, who has had a pretty terrible game, mainly because we've made his game pretty terrible. And again, Orianna, she does shockwave me here. I take quite a bit of damage, but we're putting so much pressure on, it doesn't actually matter. I do overcommit here. This is a problem. Like, I'm super low. I should have backed in this scenario, but I got greedy for the Jinx. Didn't think that I was going to be in too much danger until the Malphite jumps over the wall and everybody slaps me in the head. The mistake that I made here... The mistake that I made here was that I didn't think that I had Death Dance already for some reason, so I just bought the components for Death Dance again. Would not recommend. That's not what I should have been doing. So the early game advantage that I got has given me now 15 kills. I'm way ahead in items. I'm basically single-handedly carrying a game with 3 AD carries in it. What should be my main objectives next? Well, I should be focusing on the Baron and on the Dragon. Baron and Dragon need to be they're like their game-winning objectives that I can pretty much command by myself, and they'll end up giving my team the advantage necessary to win the game. So we should be looking to go for Baron and Dragon. I dive just past the Orianna here, very, very easy, into where Master Yi is apparently just AFK in a brush to get a double kill there, which is nice. And we're going to go into taking the Ocean Dragon, which has spawned. Now, I see the Mundo down in the bot lane. This is the problem that we're going to have. Mundo will become a problem the longer the game goes, especially because my build is not particularly good against someone like Mundo. Luckily, we get the combo, because I wasn't too confident that this Yasuo would be landing the combos that I was setting up for him. But look at how tanky this Mundo is. I mean, I'm struggling to kill him, and I've got 15... now 17 kills. After we take the Mundo out, there isn't much threat for me to be pushed off the Ocean Dragon. So we're going to do the Ocean Dragon. And then we're going to see what happens on the map. We've got a couple of people mid lane, as you can see. We've got a Yasuo split pushing by himself in the bot lane. And actually with the Orianna turning up and the Master Yi going in onto the Yasuo, I decided to head towards that bot lane engage, as you can see. He's doing all right, to be honest with you. Yasuo is doing fine, doesn't really need my help, and I just kick the Yi back for good measure. Now that we've got 2 kills here, again, I'll beat this into your heads, guys. That missed. Okay, missed again. Neutral objectives. I'm trying to focus on getting the tower here. Now, unfortunately, the wave gets cleared out. Mundo's still incredibly tanky, has his ultimate up again, but we're still pretty strong. The problem is that the Malphite just threw his ultimate on me, and I am not tanky enough to escape the damage that he's outputting. So that was a pretty unnecessary death. I didn't need to commit that hard. I now realize that I already have a death stance, and I'm like, what the earth am I doing? And sell everything and pick up a Duskblade of Drakthar. Again, just looking for that burst damage. I was thinking about what items would be good in this scenario, but I think just going, Yomu's Death Dance, Duskblade Drakthar, Black Cleaver into something like either Guardian Angel or Fist of Jaram. No, not Fist of Jaram. What is it called? The thing the fist thing. I can never remember the name of that item. That's the items that I'm looking to play here. So they've actually managed to do a good job of just pushing down the mid lane. We are struggling to penetrate the outer turrets at this point in time, and that's where we're going to need the Baron to come into the fight. So I see the Jinx, I jump in, get the kill onto her. Now the Malphite, I kick him out of the Jhin ultimate, which is a little bit of a poor going of me, but never mind, we still get the kill because we're just so strong. No idea where the Orianna thinks that she's going to win this fight, because she's not, and that picks up a triple kill for me. I've got a triple kill. I'm going to go and take the blue buff again. I'm not even sure how many blue buffs this team has had. And we're now going to head... I was thinking about going to kill the Master Yi, but the pings from my team are correct. This is just a good opportunity to go for Baron. The reason being is that we've killed 3 people, so it's very unlikely that they're going to be able to contest. And even if they do, they're contesting with just a Mundo and a Yi. Now, the Mundo is definitely scary, don't get me wrong. He's probably the scariest player on the enemy team just because of the amount of resistances and health that he's going for him right now. But everybody else is too far away, I think, to contest this Baron. This Baron is what we need with 3 AD carries to push the minion waves and end up winning the game. So we are focusing on just getting that down, and we smite it away. And immediately the engage comes through. Now I land the Q onto Jinx, she flashes, I still end up getting the kill. And now I'm going to, again, turn and burn straight onto the Orianna, by the way, who I kick immediately away from the fight, kill her instantly with the Duskblade of Drakthar, and I'm now going to back and kill the guys who are pushing down our mid lane. As you can see, there are a couple of guys pushing down our mid lane, so need to deal with that. We need to get that wave pushing back towards the enemy. We need to make use of this Baron in every single lane that we can. We can already see that the Yasuo is doing that. I unfortunately missed the Mundo backing here, but alas, it is what it is. I'm going to take the red buff. I think it's fair for me to take these buffs away from people right now. I don't really think that I need to give any buffs over at this point in time. I'm the strongest player on the team by quite a margin. And we're now just in a great position to just push down and take these inhibitor turrets. Do need to respect the Mundo, but as you can see, lots of players here. This is a little bit of a cheeky play, by the way. I flash out. I'm not looking great right now as the Mundo's chasing down, and I kick him. I Sonic Wave towards him, and then I dive away. That was, I thought, was a little bit of a cheeky play. I used the Mundo to escape and end up picking up the kill. And in the meantime, Varus was pushing down the mid lane. Sterex Gauge, that's what that item is. Yeah, I went for Sterex Gauge because, if I die in Guardian Angel, it's probably not, the team's probably going to lose the fight anyway. So it's better to me to have in-game or in-fight stats. Now, I'm picking up the Elder Dragon. We don't need the Elder Dragon, but it's a good way to just secure the game. There's no reason not for us to not go for the Elder Dragon realistically if we're in this situation. So I ping out the Elder Dragon and just start doing it. Again, like I said, we don't need it. The Elder Dragon is not necessary for our win right now, but just taking it means that if we do mess up in any way, shape, or form, there is no major objectives for the enemy to take on the map, and it basically solidifies the win for us. So this has been a relatively easy game to talk through, but it has mostly been that early game counter jungling, just making use of my strong early game to beat out the Yi. He hasn't really got much going for him versus a Lee Sin in the early games, so I was able to abuse that really hard. And this Master Yi was way further behind than he should have been, just because I put him in that place. So hopefully that was useful to you, and I hope that you guys enjoyed the breakdown. Don't forget to like and, well, you can't even see that, but subscribe if you like the content. And I will see you very soon.